Hello, traders, and Steve Gans here. Welcome to the weekend update on Sunday, June 15th, 2025. It's Father's Day, so happy Father's Day to everyone out there. Now, I'm going to cover a lot of different things in this week's session, and there's going to be a couple little gifts, if you will, in this video. One of them is going to be toward the end, where I take a look at our current market conditions and I offer up a trade concept or a trade idea only to be traded in paper. This is for educational purposes. But given my analysis of the market, I like to start tossing out how someone might apply an options trade to the current market conditions. I should also give the caveat, of course, that our current market conditions can change at any time, particularly with news-related events. Okay, so all that said, let's dive into the SPX and see what these charts are telling us at this point. Of course, the SPX has had a massive rally in recent weeks after a massive fall, but it has rallied right back up into what I would consider to be close to all-time highs and a likely resistance area. We had a little bit of a sell-off late in the week last week. That could, of course, be toward geopolitical events that were happening with Israel and Iraq going at each other again. And that could, of course, continue with any politically motivated events or just major news events in general. But if we were to continue a pullback, I would expect that it should not probably exceed these recent lows, because of that being a support level and our 200-day simple moving average falling around that same area. So again, if we were to continue with a pullback, I would not expect it to really get much lower than that 5,800 mark. So I'm largely neutral on our market right here at this point as it relates to the SPX. So if we look at SPY, of course, SPY is going to be essentially the exact same chart. SPY is the ETF of the S&P 500 index. So again, essentially the exact same thing. If we look at volatility on those two, we're going to see that volatility certainly did spike up a little bit on Friday, but it kind of stabilized as the day went on. So it's going to be really interesting here to see in this coming week what's going to happen with volatility. Is it going to continue to climb with the geopolitical events that are happening? Or is it going to taper back off here a little bit? And of course, volatility is a measure of fear in the markets. Are investors concerned and going out and buying insurance on their portfolios for us? We take a look at the Qs. Qs has a very similar chart. Of course, that big sell-off, big run up, also getting back near all-time highs, also has that major moving average right here, that if it pulled back, I would not expect it to get below that particular range. Then we look at volatility on the Qs. Again, same concept here. Volatility definitely did spike up on Friday, but stabilized throughout the day. Then we look at IWM, which is the Russell index, the Russell 2000. Now, the Russell has never gotten back near its old highs, so it's lagging for sure. We had a huge down volume here on that day, so that is a bit of a bearish indicator, and the Russell is already weaker. Let's look at volatility on the Russell. We can see that volatility on the Russell is a bit higher than the others and is holding up a little bit higher. So how do I, as a trader, look to use this information? So I come in, and if I'm looking specifically at IWM and I look at the volatility of IWM being elevated, I look at the range that IWM has been trading in, essentially this 215 down to around 201 range or so, and I might look to consider an iron condor on IWM. So if I came in and modeled up an iron condor, it might look something like this. I would go out roughly 30 days in time. I go out to the July monthlies because those are going to be some of the most liquid option strikes that are out there, tight bid-ask spreads. And then I'm going to come in, and in this case, I'm going to set up 5-point wide on both sides. That's my risk. And then I'm going to set this in a range. In this case, I'm going 200 to 220. That makes my break evens here 198 to 221. So if I come back and look at my chart, 221 is all the way up here, 198 is all the way down here. So that gives me a pretty wide range for the IWM to play in over the next few weeks. So that would be a trade that I would look to model up. I'm going to hit the save button here. I'm going to share this link. I can go ahead and put this link in the show notes below so that anyone viewing this can click on that link and it will open up a P&L diagram just like what you're seeing here. You do not have to have an option strat account to be able to view this. And then you can come in and modify this trade if you would like, if you wanted to see, gee, I think I can go tighter on this and I can get a more of a P&L out of it, but I have a lower chance of profit. These are all things that with a tool like Option Strat, you can come in and model this any way you want and then go ahead and save that trade and basically learn from it, experiment with it. So that's the trade concept I have for you here today. And with that, I'm going to wrap up this week's weekend update, but I'm going to ask a favor of you. If you find this content to be helpful, if you find it to be interesting, especially the idea of the new trade concept that I've added at the end of each one of these, please give me a thumbs up, give me a like, a subscribe. Any comments down below would be greatly appreciated as well. Now, those of you that are following me on the YouTube channel here, I've got a little extra stuff for you. One of those things is how I decided this particular position. I use what's called my options trading cheat sheet. It's a guide that helps me in analyzing and deciding what types of options positions I might consider in our markets today. So I'm going to show you a little brief video on that and how you can get that PDF file for free. So watch that, and then I'll see you right back here. At SJG Trades, we empower traders with proven strategies to generate consistent income through options trading, no matter the market conditions. Download our free 3-step trade entry cheat sheet to help navigate options trades like a pro. This is built from my 30 years of experience. This guide walks you through analyzing asset liquidity, volume, gauging market sentiment with key indicators, and selecting strategies that best match the current market conditions, all to execute smarter, more confident trades. Get instant access to this free resource at sjgtrades.com. That's trades.com/cheat sheet, or click the link in the show notes. I look forward to seeing you on the inside. Now let's get back to today's episode. All right, now that I'm back, let's take a look at our trade summary. So the first thing I want to share is that I have been trading a lot of fly-agonal trades. Those of you that have been following along understand what this trade is all about, and you can see phenomenal results on the screen here for this specific trade. This has been working really so far. Out of an entire month of approximately 15 trades or so, I haven't had a loss. One is coming. We always know as traders that a loss is coming. Don't ever fool yourself and think you found the Holy Grail. But some trades certainly act better than others. So in this case, this fly-agonal has been working very well. Again, see the results on the screen. I also have 4 of them open right now personally. You can see those on the screen right now. And I have a couple of them open as part of the alert service. If you want to know a little more about the alert service, I'm going to drop in a little bit of information here for you as well. I get asked the question nonstop of how do you decide what trade to get into? And I love seeing your trade ideas and concepts. How can I find more of those? And again, that's where the alert service comes in. So if you like either of those, feel free to subscribe to the service. Otherwise, just follow the YouTube channel here where I'm going to share stuff with you every week. So with that, let's get into the current existing trades. So as far as the alert service goes, I closed out 2 of the fly-agonal trades in the alert service this last week. both with nice profits. In addition to that, I opened a brand new Flyagonal on Friday, and it's just up slightly, but I opened that near the end of the day, so that's really largely meaningless at this stage. But I do love in these trades how they have such a very wide range that they can trade in this case, over 200 points. And again, the other cool part about this particular trade is if volatility picks up and our market starts moving down, more often than not, this tent is going to enlarge and widen out, increasing the profitability level. That's one of the unique characteristics of a time spread, a diagonal, or a calendar trade. And again, I get into that in the alert service, or I have a deep dive diagonal and calendar course as well. If you're interested in that, I'll put a link on the screen here for you. In addition to that, the class opened a new wheel trade where I decided to start getting into a PayPal position. This is where I sold a put with the intention of eventually having that stock put to me. Whether or not that will happen during this particular sale of that strike, I don't know. I may very end up, if PayPal stays about where it is or PayPal moves a little higher, I will end up rolling this and pocketing the premium here, the roughly $130 or so in premium that I took in, and I'll roll that forward. Lucid, again, continues to be a challenge for me. I do continue to watch it closely. I am still hanging on at this point, but again, I'm giving it till the end of the month and going to reevaluate that situation. So as I wrap up the weekend update here for all of you that are subscribers to my channel, again, if you find this content of interest, please subscribe, give me a thumbs up, and of course, always feel free to give me any comments down below as well. Thanks so much, everyone, and happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there, and we will see you next weekend. Take care.